Welcome to ProjectME the Podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multi-millionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME the Podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. You're listening to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, episode 20. 3 steps to figure out how to make money doing something you love. Hey guys, I was super inspired to put this short podcast together for you guys, this episode, because I have developed over the years of working with hundreds of individuals and also with companies on how to really figure out what it is someone truly would want to do in life to make money and be happy doing it. I spent many years making quite a bit of money and doing something I was good at, but I didn't love it. So there's a lot of things that we're good at, we just don't like doing. Like some people are great at doing laundry, but they hate doing laundry. Some people are great at cleaning, they hate cleaning, right? And there was a lot of things that I was really, really talented at, but I didn't love it. In fact, there were many days where I hated it. And so that doesn't work either, right? But it might look like it based on, your bank account or what kind of car you drive or whatever. But that really doesn't mean anything if at the end of the day you come home and you feel like your soul was robbed from you, or you're just exhausted, unhappy, grouchy, uninspired. It really doesn't matter how much you have in the bank. And I can already feel the eye rolls like through the airwaves right now of people going, well, that's easy for you to say, or you don't know. No, I do know, because I know what it's like to make shit and love something. That's what it was when I was a TV journalist. Even though it was intense and crazy hours, and I was at the studio on Thanksgiving, like heating up like a frozen pot pie for dinner, but I loved it, right? But made no money. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? It really doesn't. I don't know where so many of us learned along the way, or society. It doesn't matter. But somehow so many of us were taught that you can't make big money doing something you actually love. Like that's just reserved for like a select rare few people in the entire world. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. And we are going to use a 3-step process that I've developed to figure out how you can monetize your passion. And that doesn't mean necessarily you're going to be quitting your job and starting it tomorrow, although you might be. But for sure, you can start this out with a side hustle, and it gets your brain going. And it doesn't matter if you already own a business. You start another business. ProjectME with Tiffany Carter is my second business. I have another business, TLC Enterprises, that's extremely profitable, that I have deep gratitude for. However, I needed to follow something else that was my passion, my love, my soul calling, something that got me so excited to get up in the morning. That has to happen. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. It's not just about money. If it was just about money, I would have never started ProjectME. I would have just kept going with what is working and keep building my 7-figure multimillionaire lifestyle. So let me help you guys out with this today. God, I wish someone reviewed this with me many years ago. It would have saved me from a lot of pain and headache, and oh my God. But you know what? All you can do is move forward. So let's start with step number 1. And it'd be ideal, by the way, guys, if you have pen and paper handy, but if you're commuting to work or you're listening to this while jogging on the treadmill or something like that, that's okay. Just re-listen to it later. You can always skip ahead to the 3 steps and then jot them down if you don't remember my steps. But I think you will. It's simple enough. Okay. Number 1, List the top 3 industries and or subjects that really hold your interest. You know, when you catch yourself, like you're sitting on the airplane or you're at the airport and you're looking at Apple News or one of your other news apps, or you're Googling stuff, like what types of articles really capture your attention? What types of magazines do you buy when you're, when you're going on an airplane or when you're sitting at a beach somewhere? What do you like to read? What type of podcast do you like to listen to? What industries and subject matters really hold your attention and you're really intrigued by it? Is it fashion, lifestyle, real estate, interior design, new technology, cars? What is it? And if there's more than one, list them, but be honest that there are things that you really, really are intrigued by. Not skipping ahead and thinking you could make money off it. Okay. Just go with me on this. All right. Step number 2 is list your top 3 skills that you're good at, great at, but it's okay if you're just good at it, right? We can always go from good to great. So good at, great at, and that you actually like and or love doing. Okay, that's super key, and I already explained why. So, and they can have, don't try pairing things together yet, okay? Just put down what is coming to your mind. And if it's 10 things, it's 10 things. Some of us have a lot of passions. We can always hone in on that and pare that list down. So some examples would be like photography, teaching, social media, writing, videography, gaming. I mean, I know it might sound silly, but some people are just amazing at video games. So put that down. Some kind of art or craft. Public speaking is another good one. Organizing. So put these things down on a list. All right. Then the third step, and perhaps the most important, which requires a little more time and thought process involved. And this is something you might have to come back to over like a couple of days, because you'll get inspired by like new ideas as you just like kind of let it marinate in your brain. Is how can your skills that you are good at, great at, and that you like doing be useful to those industries that intrigue you? Okay, I'm going to repeat that. How can your skills that you're good at or great at, how can they be useful to the industries that you're intrigued by or you're interested in that you listed in step number 1? And you can pair them together. So for example, I'll use myself as an example. I think that seems to work when I'm teaching you guys stuff. So one of the industries that I've always been interested in is entrepreneurship and business building and wealth building, right? So that whole industry of just business, but specifically entrepreneurship. It was an interest to me even before I became an entrepreneur. So we'll go with that. Skills that I'm good at that I really, really like doing. I had to really be careful with this one because I'm good at a lot of stuff that I don't like doing. And a lot of entrepreneurs out there, I'm sure, can relate, because you have to figure out how to get good at shit you don't like doing a lot of the time when you start off of having a business, because you don't have the capital, the money, or an investor to go hire people to do those other things. So you better damn well figure it out. Okay, so I told you my step 1, which would be, let's just call it like entrepreneurship and business strategy, okay? And marketing would be another good one, like specifically digital marketing, really passionate about it, intrigued. I can spend hours reading and talking about it. And as far as my skills that could be useful to those industries, one is my talent for public speaking, presenting on podcasts, for example, right now. So presenting on audio, on video, or at live events. That's a big skill of mine that I have refined over the years from doing a lot of public speaking and being a journalist, etc. And so how could something like that be useful to the desired industry of entrepreneurship or digital marketing? Well, I can do a podcast that talks about entrepreneurship. I can interview entrepreneurs and ways to build your business through the use of digital marketing and other business strategies and marketing strategies. And I can share all that. So do you see what I did here with ProjectME? I'm literally telling you guys these 3 steps. I use them myself to create ProjectME. So that is one of my skills. It's very useful to that desired industry, that industry that intrigues me. I can pair them together that way. Okay. Another skill of mine that I would say I'm great at. I don't know if I'm exceptional. It's subjective, would be writing. Okay. I love writing content and copy. I love writing articles. I love writing long Instagram captions. I love writing blog articles. I even love writing the show notes for my podcast, and my producer would much prefer that I don't write them, considering how many other things I can be focused on, but I genuinely love doing it. Okay, so that's a skill of mine. Specifically, I love writing content that evokes emotion, that teaches people something, inspires, empowers. Love it. Okay, how can that tie into marketing, entrepreneurship, business strategy, wealth building? Well, it's something I'm doing already now, right? I can write long captions for my brand, ProjectME with Tiffany, on Instagram. I can write long blog articles that are informative and helpful and teachable and inspiring and empowering to other entrepreneurs or people who want to become entrepreneurs or people who want to go from having a 6-figure business to a 7-figure business. I can use my writing also to write great keynote speeches and be able to deliver clear messages and teach people and inspire people and help people understand some subject matters that have been overcomplicated over the years. And one of those is like mastering money, digital marketing. So many people overcomplicate some of these topics. And through my skill sets that I'm good at of public speaking, teaching, educating, presenting, and writing, I'm able to simplify some subjects that can be confusing, overwhelming, cumbersome, challenging, annoying to a lot of people. And I'm able to target how I teach based on the level of person and audience I'm sharing with, right? If I'm in a room of peers who are 7-figure entrepreneurs, how I would be presenting and teaching would be much different than if I'm in a room of 6-figure entrepreneurs or people who are just starting to make money in entrepreneurship. So do you guys see the example I used in tying those together? I'll give another example, and it'd be funny if he's listening. It's actually my trainer at Equinox. And I want to use him as an example because I want to show you guys that it does not matter what you put down if you think it's ridiculous or childish or bizarre. Like, I could never make money off that bullshit. Yes, you can. Okay, so my example is a little more obvious, at least I think. Okay, it's a little more obvious because some of my skill sets are ones that are necessary and needed in a lot of businesses. So let's do something a little more left field. Okay, so an industry that the person I'm thinking of, my trainer at Equinox, is interested in is, he loves business, he loves tech, and he loves anything to do with like marketing, social media. But what he really, really loves when he digs down to it is he loves teaching and showing people how to do things properly in a very specific manner and to a detail that is insane, that most people don't have the patience to teach. That's really what it is. But I also have done business coaching for him. Okay. So when you go to number 2, I'm going to shorten it down instead of giving all the skills, but 2 of the skills that he's great at. One is, like I just said, teaching, breaking down a concept, or breaking down a movement, or breaking down something into digestible parts in step-by-step, very clearly, and in a way that's very approachable and friendly and easy to understand. So he's really good at simplifying things that can seem complex. And he also is really good at tweaking things that seem really obvious. Hence why he is a great trainer, right? It's like, well, so what? Like, that a bench press is a bench press. No, it's not. There's about 1,000 different ways you can do a bench press wrong, and there's one way you can do it correctly. And it can even involve you moving a certain direction by a couple centimeters makes a huge difference. So he's passionate about that. So let's now look at another skill that he loves in an industry that he loves. He is a hardcore gamer. I love when I say that. I sound like such an idiot when I say it, because I'm like such not a video game person, except like Super Mario Brothers, Nintendo, circa God knows when that was. I mastered that shit. Anyway, so he is a hardcore gamer. He does a lot of that in his pastime. He is really into talking about strategy. It's not just sitting there to kind of space out on his life and do it. He really loves the strategy of it. He loves teaching other people how to beat certain levels, give them tips, techniques. It's really, you can feel that passion for it. Okay. So it's like, all right, Tiff, like, yes, we know there's people who make money being a gamer, and it's usually they have to go develop a game, or people are buying whatever level they're at. And I won't go too far into it, because those of you who are listening who aren't into gaming, your eyes will like roll in the back of your head. Very few people can, in a very obvious manner, make great money at it, okay? But what he can do is he can pair his teaching skills, his ability to break things down into digestible detail in a really friendly, easy to understand manner. He can sell that. He can package that and create a brand around that. And he can teach people to master any game. He really has that ability. He can also do that, which he is in, a personal training in the fitness world. So he can do that with a lot of things, as long as it's something that he truly loves, right? If he loved photography, for example, he could do this with photography, because really good photography is actually quite technical. And at least I can tell you, for me, I won't even buy one of those cameras that so many vloggers and bloggers have, even though I should have one. There's too many buttons. It looks exhausting even looking at it. So I just hire people to do it for me. So I hope you guys were able to see that example. There's a lot of others. I have a longtime former colleague of mine who was in pharmaceutical sales with me early on. And I'm thinking of, I don't know why she just came up, but it's such a good example. And I remember that when we would have, these big corporate meetings, and all of us brought in, we had to bring in all sorts of like sales aids, our laptops, all this stuff to these meetings. And she would always have all these interior design catalogs, and she would have like sticky notes and Post-it notes and have all the pages flagged. And I mean, we were really young. It's not like she had a home and a ton of money. So I would be like, what are you doing? Like, I don't get it. And she just loved it. And I said, are you like doing this for your home now or your apartment? And her apartment was like amazing. It was like, and she did it, relative to what she could afford, but she loved it. But she was already studying this early on, even though she wasn't making money from it. And I just always found it interesting. You know, I literally identified her with really loving that because I always saw her with all these like thick catalogs with the colorful Post-it notes. And I thought it was like kind of amusing. We all lived in apartments like at the beach. It's like it's not like we like were in these big grand homes where we have like all these like beautiful custom draperies being made, but it really didn't matter. You know, you can do interior design at any level. Well, let's fast forward. God knows how many years later, 10, 15 years later, she now has a full-fledged high-end interior design business in San Francisco and is making serious cash and has been featured in some major magazines, the very magazines that she used to put Post-it notes on many years prior. So she went for it. And there you go. And her skill set was relationship building, sales. She had a very natural way about her, very smart, had a really easy, effortless way of like building relationships with people and selling them when you didn't feel like you were being sold. And she paired it with her passion, and look what happened. And now I have to get her on the show because then obviously she popped into my head for a reason. But I don't want to say her name just yet because I need to get her on the show first. But that's another great example, right? So what? So what? You could have done it 10 years ago, 3 years ago. Why didn't you do it sooner? Who cares? You can do it now. It does not matter. It really doesn't matter. I just wanted to give you guys some examples that maybe weren't as conventional because some things that we're really passionate about aren't as conventional. One other example I'll leave you with, who's another person that I should have on the show. And I'm giving her free press right now, but she deserves it. Metal Marvels. You can find her on Instagram. She really, it's not like she's some high-end jewelry designer, but she has a passion for writing empowering, very catching, shocking phrases. Like she loves dropping the F-bomb and like does a lot of play on words with really like popular trending phrases. And she turns them into, you know, bracelets, necklaces, and now she has other items. She's if I would guess, I bet you it's $1 million business, if not close to it. That's how many sales that she has. So whatever, we'll find out what it is. But I know like one of her passions is, you know, empowering women and making people laugh and being really clever. And she paired that with jewelry. And she also has other things like stickers and office supplies and stuff like that. And she's paired it with something she obviously loves to do. It's not like she's some jewelry maker dealing with fine crystals and gold. I mean, her jewelry is like, you know, really basic, like those cuff bracelets or whatever. And she's making a killing doing it. I mean, and some of her stuff is like, you know, be like, I'm unicorn as fuck. Like I'm unicorn AF, you know, like playing off a lot of like the popular phrases. And then once those are out, she brings new ones in and they're awesome. I mean, she really caught my attention because I was like, oh my God, who would put that? Like who has the balls to put that on a bracelet? Like some of the shit she sells. It's amazing. So there's another example. So hopefully you guys were able to kind of see yourselves in some of those examples that I gave, and you have some inspiration to really start seeing how you can pair your skills with your desired industries or industries and subject matters that intrigue you, and you pair that value with an industry you love. You've got money. I mean, you do. You have a business there. Now, obviously, there's more that goes into it. You actually have to have the drive, resourcefulness, and determination. But that's for you to listen to other podcasts on. The first step is getting to this point and figuring it out. And then the next part is going for it. And it is totally possible. I've seen it over and over and over again, even with the least suspecting people, some people with the most bizarre ideas. I mean, just watch Shark Tank. You'll see some of the most bizarre pairings of these things that people are passionate about, and it works. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Please, 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 I can't say it enough. Please give us a 5-star rating and a written review on iTunes. This will allow us to keep producing the show and getting on great high-value guests. Also, we are now on Spotify. So all you have to do is you can either go to my Instagram page at ProjectME with Tiffany, and the link is in the bio. Or when you're in Spotify, just type in the exact name of the show, ProjectME, all one word, with Tiffany Carter, and the show will pop up and you can subscribe. So I thought you guys would be excited about that. As always, wishing you great wealth, health, and worth. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.